Today, we're diving into a piece of writing that does something truly incredible. It takes 20 years of longing, of separation, and crams all of that emotion into one single powerful scene. So we're not just going to talk about what happens, we're going to break down how the author pulls it off, crafting this intense intimacy, moment by moment.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to break the scene down using a classic story arc. First, we'll look at the reunion itself, then move into what's called an act of surrender, hit the peak with an ocean of passion, and then explore the quiet that comes after. We'll wrap things up with a new dawn's desire. Following this structure is a great way to see how the author is deliberately controlling the pacing and all that emotion.
Everything, and I mean everything, in this scene hinges on this one line, which she repeats over and over. Notice, it's not, "I missed you," or "Wow, it's been so long." It's, "I have come to you." Right away, that tells you everything you need to know. Her arrival isn't just some random event. No, this is the fulfillment of a journey. It's a destination finally reached.
So let's start at the beginning. Section 1, the 20-year reunion. We're dropped right into the scene, well past midnight. This single moment is about to set 2 decades of history into motion.
Now, in writing terms, Mira showing up at that door is the perfect inciting incident. You can really think of it as an explosion, the past just suddenly erupting right into the present. It's the hook that grabs you and says, okay, from this point on, nothing is ever going to be the same.
And check out this immediate transformation the author shows us. Before the kiss, Mira is described in almost mundane terms, right? She's got disheveled clothes, there's a lingering sleep around her, a torn soul. But the second their lips meet, bam, the language becomes epic. We get insatiate longing, tears, and the sudden dissolving of all boundaries. It's like an earthquake in a single action.
And that initial spark, well, it builds and builds into our second section, the act of surrender. The author is so smart here, they don't rush it. Instead, we get this carefully paced buildup that leads to what the text itself calls a complete surrender. First, and this is so interesting, we get a moment of resistance. But it's not from her, it's from him, from Sikander. The source says he hesitated for a moment. It's that last flicker of the old reality, that last remnant of their 20 years apart, just before it gets completely snuffed out.
And that hesitation is absolutely crucial. It's that one single beat where their entire past collides with their future. It's that moment where disbelief and doubt are still on the table, which makes what comes next feel so much more earned and so much more powerful. And then, it happens. A total release. The author uses the word implosion to describe them collapsing on the floor. All barriers, physical, emotional, you name it, are just gone. By building up through that bit of resistance and hesitation, the author makes this final surrender feel absolutely monumental.
So how does the author make us feel this emotional implosion? It's not magic, it's just really good craft. They ground us in reality by saturating the scene with sensory details. You can practically smell the cigarettes on the bedsheet, feel that mild deli cold on their skin, hear the sobbing, taste their lips. It's all designed to pull us right into that room with them.
This brings us to Section 3, the ocean of passion. And this is it. This is the climax of the scene, where the language just becomes raw, visceral, almost primal.
I mean, just listen to this imagery. It is incredibly raw, so unfiltered. There's zero attempt to romanticize this or clean it up. It's about sweat and dirt and 2 bodies becoming one in the most elemental way imaginable.
So you have to ask yourself, why? Why show the beauty and the grime? Well, by combining that sublime passion with the grit, the sweat, and the dirty sheets, it creates this powerful sense of realism. This isn't some fairy tale. It's a messy, real, and profoundly intimate reunion. It's almost a statement that true, lasting passion isn't clean or perfect. In fact, the grime is what makes the beauty so believable. So after that storm of passion, we enter Section 4, the quiet aftermath. And here, the author just masterfully shifts the entire tone and pacing to explore what happens next. Look at this contrast. It's so deliberate, and it tells us so much. Mira, who has finally reached her journey's end, finds immediate peace and just falls asleep. But Sikander, he's wide awake. He's out on the terrace, smoking, recollecting. For him, a new journey has just begun. He's the one who has to process what this new reality even means. You can literally feel the author hitting the brakes on time here. We go from that chaotic, minute-by-minute rush of their reunion to the slow, observational pace as Sikander just sits there and thinks. That slowdown signals a huge shift in the story, away from pure physical passion and toward quiet reflection.
But the story doesn't just end in that quiet darkness. And that brings us to our final section, A New Dawn's Desire. Because the morning brings with it a totally fascinating shift in their dynamic. This isn't just a resolution, it's a whole new beginning.
The night before was a mutual implosion, right? A shared surrender. The encounter at dawn, though, is different. It might be started by Skindar's kiss, but it's ultimately directed, almost choreographed by Mira.
And look at how this breaks down. These are not suggestions, they're commands. Kiss my forehead, kiss both my eyes, kiss my lips. She is no longer just the person who showed up exhausted and overwhelmed. She is now, clearly and confidently, setting the terms of their new reality.
And this line, she felt herself a woman and complete, which we heard the night before, suddenly takes on a whole new meaning, doesn't it? Her newfound control, her agency in directing their intimacy, that is the ultimate expression of feeling complete. Not just as his partner, but as an individual who knows exactly what she wants.
So when you look at how this whole scene is built, moving from that chaotic arrival to mutual surrender, and finally to this controlled, deliberate rekindling, the author leaves us with a really powerful idea. This isn't just the neat and tidy end of a 20-year wait. It's the complicated, messy, and fascinating beginning of their next chapter. The real story, you feel, is just getting started.